It's just you and me today. So grab a drink, whatever it may be, a coffee if you're on your walk. I'm drinking my Ignite Light. This is the raspberry lemonade and hot tip. Squeeze a little fresh lemon or lime in there. Delish. So once it starts kicking in, I'm just going to start rambling and be real zoned in. I'm like halfway through. So grab your drink or whatever your summer go to is. Is it a nice coffee? Is it a hot coffee? I'm always amazed at the people that can, first thing when they wake up in the morning, want an iced coffee. I look forward to my hot cup of coffee in the morning and then I'll go into an iced coffee, but I don't immediately wake up and want iced coffee. Anyways, this episode is going to be just like a little check in. You and I shooting the shit, hanging out together. I'm going to be sharing what's been going on, what I'm loving, a few rants, some recommendations from you guys, and then some questions. I just kind of want to like go back to the basics, if you will. And I used to do these kind of episodes a lot ish, at least like a couple times a month, where it was just you and I hanging out. And honestly, I didn't have like a specific topic that I was talking about. It was really just a check in and kind of like a personal journal and hanging out together. So I'm going to do this one and then we'll see if we like it, if it's something we want to keep going with. I would ideally like to get kind of like some of these episodes where they're like segments, if you will, something you have to look forward to where you guys are writing in, we're doing rants, we're giving advice, we're talking about specific topics and going through different segment like episodes, I think would be really fun. So for now, we're just going to check in because I have a few fun guests on the docket and things coming up, but nothing super specific. I feel like we're kind of in this ebb and flow of summer. And so that is what we're going to do. Obviously, I don't know, how's your guys' summer going? Utah got really hot really fast, which I feel like you'll hear me with any of the seasons, the big seasons, you'll hear me be like, summer hit us real hard, winter hit us real hard. It just like comes out of nowhere. It's been in the 90s and we are only in, where are we? The second week of June. And if you know anything about Utah, it's only going to get hotter come July and August are usually our hottest months. That's exciting. But I did get my garden planted. Here's a hack for you guys. I did this a couple years ago by mistake, not even by mistake. Life got busy. I think what was going on? Oh, it was when I had my bear tag. So it was the end of May and is when my bear hunt was, and into the first part of June. And I'm like, I'm not going to plant my garden. The saying around here is you plant your garden after Mother's Day, right? Which is usually like the second, third week of May. Well, my bear hunt started Memorial Weekend or Memorial Day, whatever, logistics, and then went through mid June. And I didn't want to plant a garden and then be gone for weeks at a time. And we already had chickens for someone to look after chickens. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait to plant my garden. Waited to plant my garden, got my bear. If you haven't listened to the episode, please go back and listen. It's awesome. And I got my bear, came home mid June, and it was like the same about time, probably like June 10th ish. Went and got my garden stuff because I am a girl that I love getting my hands dirty. I love digging in the dirt. I love grounding my feet and wiggling my little toes into the grass. And like the smell of dirt, I tell you what. Went and got our garden, and I was kind of worried when initially going. I'm like, there's not going to be anything left. It's all going to be picked over. We're not going to be able to harvest anything. We're going to be starting really late. I'm not going to be able to get anything until right before it freezes. Like I totally screwed myself over. Guess what? We had some cold frosts throughout when it would be like after Mother's Day. And I remember this always happens every year. People are like putting blankets over their plants and all that. Get to the greenhouse and the plants they've been growing them for you. So it's kind of a cheat code. Ended up bringing home plants with tomatoes already, some green tomatoes growing on them. They're already budding. The zucchini's got zucchini flowers on it, all that. And so that's what I've done the last couple years, and I'm not mad about it because every year it seems like when I think like, oh, I should be planting this, we get like a really cold front come through, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm glad I didn't, because then I'd be pissed that my plants probably died or I would have forgot to cover them, la-di-da-di-da. So yeah, we got all that to say. That was a long rant. We planted our garden this week. I'm very excited. It's just like my backyard is my oasis in the summertime. I don't know about you guys, but like our yard, I always love our yard. I'm grateful for our yard, but like It feels so different from winter yard to summer yard. Like it literally feels like an oasis. It's beautiful. Everything feels clean and in its home and its space. And in winter, I just feel like it's like a clusterfuck. And it's like, does anyone else look at your yard and think, wow, like when Nicole came to visit us, she came in February because it was the Western Hunting Expo. And I was like, listen, come back in the summertime when my backyard is thriving, because like you're just not going to be able, you don't get to see the full vision, Nicole. Okay. So anyways, we planted our garden. I'm excited. We did, in case you're wondering, what did you guys plant? I would love to hear. I would love to branch out more on my gardening, but I feel like if I'm going to do that, then I need more space. We kind of did. We planted our usuals. So we have squash, zucchini. We really love tomatoes and just snacking on them, all kinds of different recipes, making salsa especially. So that is a lot of my garden is for salsa. We have different kind of tomatoes, jalapenos, habaneros. One year we grew habaneros and they did awesome, and Cody really loved those, so we did those. I did find this year tomatillos, so I'm excited for those because Cody makes a salsa. You've probably seen it before. Speaking of my bear, he learned this recipe from some of the guys that he used to work with, and it's a delicious like pineapple, tomatillo, jalapeno, onion on the grill salsa. Ooh, so good. I have basically all the fixings for that minus the pineapple. The boys were like, we just need to grow a pineapple. I'm like, I know, if only that's the way it worked. So, and then we ended up planting stuff out front in our front flower garden. Cause I'm like, we redid that. Super grateful that we went through as a family, dug it out, kind of started fresh, laid down weeds. This is what 36 is. I'm sorry. If you're like under 30, this may not be exciting to you, but like hopefully, if you were listening to like Gangsters in Paradise, you're very excited about the gardening talk. I had no intentions of going here, and here we are. But laid down a new weed blocker. What the is that called? The weed sheet? I knew what it was because I asked for it. The weed barrier tarp thingy, and then new topsoil on there. And then when we were at the garden place, we were initially kind of looking for flowers. And listen, my budget, I was like, do I either get stuff that we can eat or something that's pretty? And so I went with stuff that we could eat because obviously. So we ended up getting spinach because I was like, that will make hopefully like a big bunch of like green little, because my idea was underneath this big shade tree, it was like bushes, and I didn't want it to look, at one point I had wildflowers in there and it was beautifully wild, but it almost was too wild to where it like looked like weeds, if you know what I'm saying. So we ended up doing spinach kind of in like a little follow the kidney shape. And then the boys did a pumpkin and a watermelon. So TBD on those. They have plenty of room to grow because we've never had the like space to allow something like a watermelon or a pumpkin to grow. And yeah, so that's that. I don't know how we got here. That's summer. It's been interesting doing the podcast this last year. Life kind of has shifted, and I really wanted to like go balls to the wall, all in, commit to the podcast. And it's been very fun and fulfilling. I can truly say that. Like, I can tell when you're like chasing after something that you like feel so passionate about and so inspired and called to do, like how much more fulfilled you feel and happy. But through the midst of all this, it really has been interesting and challenging putting so much love and attention and work into the podcast and going through and growing that. So that has been something that's kind of like been business front. I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. You guys said you wanted to hear like behind the scenes kind of stuff. And so that's what we've been working on. I obviously, my boys help me and Cody helps me where they can, and obviously are the best supporters that a girl could ask for. But it is interesting doing something like this because part of doing this is also showing up on social media, which I'm sure if you follow me on social media, if you know me personally, you can tell like I'm an introvert, and like I get the ick off social media. I don't like to feel like a pick me person, but it's part of the game. It's part of playing the game, and it's a insane marketing tool, and I love all things marketing. And so it has been interesting this last little while kind of shifting into that and that mindset. And I will say, if you're someone that has a small business, because I think a lot of people that may not truly be in the weeds with me, if you will, is like reckoning is in fact a business. I I run the business completely. So it is Reckoning LLC. We're a digital media company, which is so badass and so awesome. The big thing with Reckoning that keeps me busy outside of the podcast and outside of content creation is Pinterest marketing. And that is like what's floated the boat, if you will. And it's been so fun to be able to see the clients that I've had for the ones that I have now, I've had for 5 years, and it's been so fun to be able to grow with them and to go through all the different changes and things like that. And also like evolve with them and see that I have an ROI, which is awesome. And so there's been changes happening there, which is so fun. And it's allowed me, I will say this, like when you're chasing your passions, it is nice to have that stable income. And for a while, that was kind of like something that I needed. And it's good to get back to that place where you're feeling like I'm making a difference for myself, my family. I'm helping live life and then also doing this thing. And that's when social media has come into play is social media. When I do show up and post on there, it definitely does make a difference when it comes to getting the show out there. And so, yeah, it's just crazy, but it is hard because how did I even get here? Content creation is tricky because with all that said, that is not my main focus. I'm not showing up on social media as just like an influencer, meaning I'm not just going on and creating videos for TikTok every day. Like that's not my one and only thing. And I think a lot of small business owners will understand this is I'm not just going on and trying to create daily vlogs or create this. It's like the bread and butter, the heart of everything is the podcast. And then obviously my clients that I work with for content creation and Pinterest marketing. But the heart and soul of it and like what I want to grow is the podcast. So time has to be spent there. But then it's like, okay, now I need to pull content for Instagram and TikTok, which I'm just getting to the point where I'm going to pull both of them. But that in itself is so time consuming by the time you go through, you edit a podcast, you take time to record a podcast, you've mapped out and done your brief for a podcast, you wrote the article, you've then edited, you're uploading, you wrote the description, you wrote the title, you made sure the SEO is good, then you're publishing, then you're putting it on YouTube, you're creating the graphics. And then now you got to go through and you have to actually let the world know that this episode's live and to keep pushing them out too. And that's the shit that captures my attention as someone, if I'm going on social media and gets their attention, is seeing those awesome new clips coming through and those stories being told on social media. And that's how I find people. And that has been a struggle. And I honestly kind of told myself through this time frame is like, just work on being consistent on showing up on social media as you and as you can. And then let's build up that muscle to do that. And then being consistent, obviously, with the podcast is, like I said, the heart of it, building something strong and outside of where I own the IP, then we can build on that. And so that is where we are. I do feel like we're getting to a place where obviously we're rolling and we're grooving. And then with all that, you guys have asked like, what kind of equipment are you using? What are you doing? I ended up coming through the conclusion of like, okay, now we're in a rhythm. We have a library for people to show up. How can I then easily and efficiently push stuff out? And so that is a tool that I'm going to start using. I use Riverside to record on most of the time when I'm doing virtual stuff. And then I'm going to end up using Opus Clip, OPUS Clip. And this goes through, and once I upload stuff to YouTube, then it goes through and it helps me pull everything. And I'm so excited to start being able to use that and schedule from there out to Instagram and TikTok. So that's some exciting stuff. I figured I would showcase kind of like some of the behind the scenes and what's going on with the podcast and give you guys an update in that front, because I have been asked like, how's the podcast going? What's going on? I have to say it's been really fun to be able to get to push myself, show up every week, and kind of really like figuring out the gist of Reckoning, which I do feel like a lot of it is going back to the basics of why I started and like being the host of the show, but also it's like been really fun to hone in on who's reckoning for. And the more I've heard from people and people coming in to the podcast or finding social media or asking us to be a guest on their podcast, it is showing that that is starting like the audience and the niche, if you will. It's more like the person that we're after is starting to show up, and that makes me really proud and excited. So I appreciate all you guys' support on that. That is how the podcast is going. And like major shout out to my boys. Like right now we're home. It's summer, like I've already said 1,000 times, and you know, they're doing their thing and they know that I'm recording, and then we get back to it. And it just, at the end of the day, like all this, I know if I was to be like bow out, I couldn't. I could not never live with what if. Like so close, you know? I can't bow out at this point because I want to be able to like push past what people don't understand. How will you make like let's see where it goes. Let's show what like hard work's about. And you know what, sometimes good things take a long time. That's all I'll say. That's what I tell myself when I want to cry. And so that's the behind the scenes. We do have, I'm really excited, I have an in-person guest coming. I was gonna have Cody come on. I still would love for Cody to come on. I'd love for my dad to come on. That was another idea I had, was for like Father's Day and my dad to come on. I've only been stood up twice for interviews, and my dad was one of them. He worked out of state, but like still, like the little girl in me felt like I was waiting for my dad to show up to my sports game, and I kept looking up in the bleachers and he wasn't there. Or I got left at school. He'll come on. But I do have a fun guest next week coming in person. Is someone, you know what? It is kind of like a cool dad episode, which I know will be the week after Father's Day. Or 2 weeks after Father's Day, because his son has been on the podcast and now he's going to come in. He's going to come in person. I'm super stoked too, because I went through me and chat went through, and I've been wanting to, like, currently right now, if you could see what I'm looking at, I have the best badass view out of my office window. My desk is this way. Obviously, this is the elk that I got with my archery tag in Utah, and then I'm looking out, and I have a big huge blanket covering my window right now because I have these gorgeous bay windows, which I love. However, when I record, it's almost like washes you out and it's too bright, and then also it echoes really badly off of the windows. So I've been wanting to get curtains on these windows for a while, and I was like, hey chat, what's up? I need you to be my interior designer. I have this vision. I personally really love like a gothy, earthy feel. And so we went through, we talked about it. I kind of showed chat what I already have. Ideally, I would love like all black walls, which would be so badass. One day I will. But we ended up going through, and Cody's been teasing me forever. Last week when he pulled up, right? He's like, can we not afford curtains? Why do we have a blanket hanging up? It's because I've been wanting to like really figure it out. So anyways, I ordered black curtains. I was so excited. And it is bay window. So maybe I'll show you guys along the way. Black curtains because I have maroon carpet that is here to stay for a while. You know, I got my skulls, I got my green. I really want it to be like moody. All that to say, I have someone coming in studio. It's going to sound so much better. I'm very excited to try this out with him to see how well the echo works from him sitting over into the other chair that you often see me recording in. It's usually where the guest sits, and then I'll sit back here. And then also I've had these in my Amazon cart forever, got some studio lights so that the lighting will be so much better. So she's excited. And also a boom. So I quit holding on to this because my last boom broke, so that way I have a boom arm for both me and my guests. It's little things like that too, like investing just a little bit into yourself and your business and what it is you're doing, because we are slowly but surely growing and it is exciting. So I do have a cool guest coming in. That episode will drop in 2 weeks, and then, you know, a few fun ones coming down the pipeline. I'm having a hard time, and I understand it because people, not to brag, but I have been asked to be on a few podcasts, and she's very excited. It'll be weird to be the guest and not the host. But it is so hard getting everyone's schedules in check for summer. So that has been something that I've been trying to do. It seems like last year this same thing happened. It's like an ebb and flow of guests. So if you're someone that's interested in getting a podcast started with guests, it is always easier to like book months and months ahead of time or a couple months ahead of time. June for me, the last year or two, has always felt er, like everyone's hitting vacays, so that's okay. But I do plan on getting some really fun people in and also really hitting hard on getting our health and wellness and some adventures outlined and recorded before everyone starts hitting the mountains. So that is a check-in. It's only 25 minutes later. Can't wait to do that. I will say I have tried to stick to a summer routine and that has been going really well. I know I mentioned that last time. And by a routine, I mean like I've kind of been trying to do blocks of time and things that I want to get done in said blocks versus like a strict here's our schedule. And that has been helpful because I did want to do like this chunk of time, this chunk of time, this chunk of time, meaning like hour by hour. And that was giving me anxiety because we weren't meeting it. And like my type A personality was like, we're supposed to be doing this. And I was getting really anxious. So also, can we talk for a second about my intention this summer is to try and be when I'm working, I'm working. And when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, like presently with my kids, not on my phone. There are some days where like I might have to go work, like they want to go fishing first thing in the morning, but like I have to get X, Y, and Z done. And I'll take my computer with, and that's the beauty of my job. And I'm grateful for that. And so are the boys. But I really want to, like, when it's not working hours, be so present with them because with everyone graduating, I'm at a place in motherhood where I'm going to have like a high schooler, which is just wild. And then, two, everyone's graduating. And so late at night, or not really even late at night, just like a mid scroll, you'll get these videos and it's like the little boy that used to be playing. And so, like, it'll be all of their sons, like, let's say he's like a football athlete. And so it's like all of his little pictures and videos of him when he's little. And then they shoot to the mom and him at like his last senior game. And he's got a scholarship and he's like a foot taller than his mom. And he's in his pads and he's like holding her and hugging her. And it's like, I'm so proud. I can't fucking do these. I don't know about you guys, but like, quit posting them. Just kidding. I want to do the same. But like, whoa, so those kind of moments are good to remind me like how quick time goes. I can't even think about it. Because time flies by and my kids are growing up so fast and they're so much fun right now. They're so much fun. Like anything, parenthood is challenging at all stages, but like right now it's so much fun because they're like their own little people. We got to go hang out and go on adventures and adventures. While they've always been enjoyable, it's like we have our own adventures inside of adventures because they're doing their own thing. So I'm just really trying to be present. And so that would be my encouragement to everyone this summer is like, when you are with your family, try and truly be with your family. Nobody just wants to see a screen looking back at them, or like a phone. We've checked in 30 minutes later. If you follow me or Cody for that matter on social media, hell, even just listen to our gear recommendations on the show, you have heard and seen this company numerous times. That's Sheep Feet. Sheep Feet is known for customized orthotics to your feet and your boot. Each pair of orthotics they make is different and 100% custom to each person's feet. Their process gives them a precise replica of your foot, which allows them to make high quality orthotics specifically for you. Each pair is handmade and constructed in the USA. I'm telling you, having Sheep Feet in your boots, you like don't know what you're missing until you have them. And then you're like, how did I ever do anything without these? It makes a huge difference to up your gear. And now they have my favorite hoodie of all time. It's been decided. It's official. The Hideout hoodie. You have seen me in this probably too much, but I don't really care. I'm just going to keep wearing it. I have it in black, which is my go-to, and also green, which is perfect for the mountain. I love this for a hunting layer or honestly just day to day, especially for the gym. The Hideout pocket honestly is what sold me at first. It is Sherpa lined and also water and wind proof, making it a built-in hand warmer. Mummy likey. Crafted from durable grid fleece, it keeps you cooler when moving and warmer when you're not. It has zipper pockets to keep items secure and fitted high zip hoodie for added utility. It's real perfect to hide from the wind or just when like you're over for the day feeling a little emo. From all the people, but I really do like it to go up high over for the wind. And it has comfortable thumb holes. If you know, you know. This is perfect for hunters who love versatility in a single piece of gear, no matter the season of the hunt. Sheep Feet also released their stealth bombers last fall, and these are the ultimate stalking and hunting shoe. You're definitely gonna want to check these out now before it gets too close to bow season. These are a hot commodity. Plus, they have some other awesome apparel like shirts and something coming down the pipeline that I'm excited to share with you guys when it drops. We've been lucky enough to be field testing some of it. Listen, don't settle for anything less than custom. Be sure to check it all out at sheepfeetoutdoors.com. They have hooked you guys up with 10% off too. Plus, Sheep Feet are HSA and FSA card approved. Go to sheepfeetoutdoors.com and use our code RECKONING for 10% off. Again, that's sheepfeetoutdoors.com and use our code RECKONING, RECKONING, for 10% off your next order. We'll go through a couple things that we're loving lately this summer. I know feel like I'm always kind of sharing this stuff, but it's always good to know. Beauty stuff. I was asked like, what beauty stuff are you loving? Hair oil in my hair every day. I think that's something, especially when we get out like on dirt roads and such. I just feel like my hair gets so dry. And so I've been trying to be a good girl and brush my hair more than like once a day, and also right before bed, and put oil in my ends because I want it to be long, luscious, and beautiful. So I've really been loving hair oil. I really love the what is it called? The Verb Ghost Oil. Love that one. And then a drugstore version of that is the Garnier Fructis. It's in a green pump bottle, and that's one that I actually currently have, and I love that. And also I've been trying to wash my hair. Nicole and I were talking about this. Being a woman sometimes is just like so wild because we're like, well, just a person in general, but like specifically a woman. Like we have workout splits and now we have hair washing splits. But the more like in summertime, I'm finding that obviously we're swimming, we're going to the lake, whatever. It's just sweaty as all hell. And so I'm washing my hair. I'm trying to wash it more like Sunday and Wednesday or Thursday. And I'm finding too, like in the summer, I feel like that's when my hair really grows. So maybe there's something about, or just stays long. Nicole did have a good point. She's like, I think maybe like it's not getting so dry and brittle. So maybe it's not even so much that it's growing, it's just not breaking off as much. Let's talk about what I'm sure most of you want to talk about. Outdoor stuff. What are we loving? I am loving our little mini Blackstone. We're actually going to be using this weekend in some upcoming adventures. I love this thing because if the boys and I even have gone like fishing before and we know it's going to be a nighttime, or we're going with all their buddies and we want to go through lunch, I love this little travel Blackstone. I'll put what one it is in the show notes, but it's the smaller one. I think it's like the 20, it's either like 18-inch or 22-inch. I can't remember. It has a carrying bag, makes it easy peasy. I can put it on my tailgate. Rivers won this last year from the SFW calendar, if I remember correctly. Hopefully I don't butcher that. Rivers won it, so it's Rivers Blackstone, and he told me I could use it. Okay. But I love it because you can put it on your tailgate. We've got our cooler full of stuff. Super easy and fun to just be able to pull it out on your tailgate and use this Blackstone. Cleanup is super duper easy, and you can cook a lot, especially for like a whole bunch of teenage boys, or honestly, just my boys in general. And me and Cody is more than enough room. And there's awesome recipes for this. You can do hibachi stuff, go back to good old fashioned just smash burgers. And then also there's some really fun dessert recipes. If you wanted to do just even that, you can do smashed cinnamon rolls. Just take your canned cinnamon rolls and smash those on there, and then just drizzle on or dip it even into the cream cheese frosting. Or you can take like your pre-made cookie dough, smash that on there, and then flip it and smash, and you've got cookies on the Blackstone. Blackstones I love for this time of year. Like I said, it's just nice to have something to throw in the back of the truck and be able to use it at the lakes, in the mountain. This is going to be perfect for those scouting trips when we did this last year, 2 years ago. I don't know. What is time? And throw it in the back on the scouting trips and be able to just like hurry and throw some brats on the griddle where you sit there in glass and just toss it over. Oh my gosh, that sounds, can you guys feel it? Can you feel that? Can you feel the crisp, cold air after a long day and like the breeze, and you can hear the aspen trees rustling in the wind? Is it rustling or rustling? Or rustling in the wind, and you're just got your binos up. Yeah, this is such a great day. And then you got something cooking on the Blackstone. Wellness. This is something you guys have seen on our feeds, probably on social media. And that, well, for one, right now, the weight of my heart is either a walk at night or a Sunday ruck. We've been really getting into our Sunday rucks. It's part of Cody's fitness plan. And this is what I was going to tell you about, is with Mountain Physio. First off, Cody knows, like, I understand it now. Speaking of getting old, I understand why, as you age, as you season with time, when you see couples out walking, there's something really special about going on a walk together. And then now Mountain Physio has given us a fantastic reason to get out and do it just a little more and a little more aggressively. And that is with our rucks or our packs. And I love our Sunday rucks. They're so fun. They're challenging. They suck with sunburns. Some of us opted out. My sunburn was so bad I couldn't even put my pack on. Listen, if I would have, if we would have been hunting and I had to, I would have. I would have literally had some skin in the game, but I walked fast and hard. I've been so impressed with this app. I would love to get Preston on, the founder of Mountain Physio, on the podcast, but Cody has been doing Mountain Physio. I'll let him tell his journey and story if he wants to, but I have got to join him on some of these workouts, and we have done a lot of different fitness programs over the years. And the last couple of years, we have done a few different ones that are targeted towards hunters specifically, and hunters being athletes, which, I'm all about. And I will say what has really impressed me with Mountain Physio is, one, their on-ramp process for new athletes is very impressive to watch. And two, their app is unlike any other fitness app I have seen out there in the outdoor space. It is clean, it's simple, it's easy to use. And I also think there's like a form of encouragement and camaraderie and like competition amongst yourself and others that the app puts in place. And I am impressed. So if you're looking, like, now is the time. You guys just heard me talking about getting out and scouting. Now's the time to start preparing for that hunt. Like, be ahead of it, not on the mountain wishing you woulda. So check out Mountain Physio. He also offers a lot of different things. I actually want to talk to him about my elbow. That's a whole other thing. I have some weird hand pain, especially in my elbow. Like, I can't grip my coffee maker and then pour it. It is wild. But you guys did hear me talk to Christian from Archery Strong about my tennis elbow from packing my bow around, and I'm kind of wondering if like this is all chaotic out. So I need to talk to Preston because he does I think he works with physical therapists and things like that. So I'll keep you guys posted. Wanted to let you know about Mountain Physio and what workouts we're doing. Like I said, I'm joining Cody. I would say maybe once to twice a week, more probably like once. Well, yeah, I might do like an actual workout with him, and then I'm usually doing his ruck and or his run with him. And then I have still been going true to form with Caroline Gervin, my walks, and Pilates. That has been my happy spot, and my body is loving it. Things for the family that we have been loving and obsessing over. Something for the kids is, honestly, this might sound silly, but like just letting them build something, giving them bringing home scrap wood, scrap whatever you've got, or a project. I think has been it's been one of the most requested things by both my boys as they've grown, but especially like this last year, they've each kind of found their own little projects, whether that's you come across a motor and you want them to learn how to take it apart or see how, this kind of motor works, or like what a cylinder is or what a carburetor is. How do you clean a carburetor? And also just like letting them build like a shoe shelf for mom or a side table. My kids have really enjoyed doing those kind of projects along with Legos, like obviously. But I think sometimes we forget like the simplicity of like, oh, I have extra lumber at work that's just scrap that they're going to throw away. I might as well bring that home and give them some hammer and nails, or like teach them to use a screw gun. So I wanted to bring that up because there has been a few projects that my boys have been working on separately, kind of like some hand-me-down things that they've gotten, or like I said, dad's brought home some different kind of scrap or projects, and it has been really fun to watch them use their imagination or learn more about the way that like a motor works or a tool works or how to measure something or like logically thinking about how to build something. That would be my summer hack and fun activity for the family, is just getting your hands dirty and building something. And don't forget, you know, the basics, like give them some hammer and nails. What else, you know? See what their little minds come up with. Some shows we've been loving. We're so late to the party, but I'm not mad about this because, okay, first let's start with we're late to the party. Stranger Things. You guys know my little like spooky heart loves this. I've seen this for obviously years and years and years. I started the first season, I think, at one point by myself, here and there, because I'm like slowly remembering some of this, but I don't know much about it. And so Rivers loves his little spooky stuff. He's always into like, he's my mini me and Cooper's Cody's mini me. And so we decided to start Stranger Things because he loves like a thriller, he loves like a twist, he loves scary, he likes all that stuff. So we started that, and then Cooper has gotten into it with us. So I'm really excited because that has been a show that we started with my kids, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I feel like my hair when I was styling it today, it was feeling a little 80s. I had to take the blow dryer through. I was feeling a little inspired, but I'm excited to see where Stranger Things goes. So if you have watched Stranger Things, don't give anything away. But does it get even better? And I saw too, we started it at the right time, which I'm not mad about starting it late because I love when I can binge a show. Like we started Yellowstone when Yellowstone started, and so we were always waiting. So when someone like first gets to discover Yellowstone and they get to sit down and binge the whole thing, I'm like, lucky. You know, you don't have to wait 2 years for the next season to come out or whatever. I did see Stranger Things. They're coming out with the final season, I believe, this fall. So I feel like we're right on track, and I'm stoked about that. And I think, what is there, 3 seasons of Stranger Things? And I'm just like, Will. I think we're at the place where they're like figuring out the upside down and they think it's like another dimension. And I'm excited to see if it's something like the whole family enjoys. And then something that I think I'm going to wait and maybe see if Cody wants to finish watching with me. I started it, I haven't finished it. And I'm kind of like, maybe I wait until there's a second season to watch this. Ransom Canyon. It's on Netflix too. If you're a book girl like me and you love like a good romance with like a little bit of like heartbreak and thriller, Ransom Canyon. I'm like, this literally, I think, is like a book I've read before. I think. Josh Jamal. Wow. And I think Cody would enjoy it because Minka Kelly is gorgeous. So I think I'm gonna maybe like Cody and I will watch it when there's 2 seasons out. I think that could be a good one for us because it's like it's like a softer Yellowstone, you know? Yeah, sure. New biz stuff. I already talked about Opus. I'm gonna go with Opus clips. I'm using them and loving them, and then I'm also just like really into my notes and journaling. That helps a lot. So that's what I'm loving. All right, we're gonna go through and do some grab bag questions because I don't know about you, but I always loved going to the store when I was little, and there would be like the 25-cent or the 50-cent grab bags. Was that just a Utah thing, or like everyone? Did you guys all do that? Now I think they're much more expensive and or don't exist. I also remember when there's penny candies, okay? I was a sour kind of a candy kid, you know, and I only like specific things in my grab bag. And that's the fun about grab bag, is there's something for everyone and you may not like it all. So let's go through our grab bag questions from you guys. I feel like this has been very girly, if you will. So maybe we start with outdoor stuff. Best piece of gear under $50 you're loving right now? Ooh, good question. I think I've talked about this a lot, but like this is my go-to lately for under. I'm going to give you two. The sheep feet merino wool socks are insane. I cannot tell you enough of like when you put those on, I was telling Cody this when I was wearing them the last time we went bear hunting, and then I had my sliders on, and I'm like, and then when you put on your hiking boots, they're so buttery and soft. Like, I can't explain it. You just have to buy them and put them on. They're soft. They're somehow warm but cooling at the same time. My feet don't get hot. When my feet get hot, I get so pissy. I get so mad. Like, I can't do hot feet. It literally makes me physically like overstimulated and ornery, and I don't get this with them. Yeah, I just like sheep feet socks. Check them out, under $50. They'll be perfect for your scouting trips and like going into early rifle hunts. And then how do you deal with post-adventure blues when you're back home? Not well. I'm just barely recovering from my buffalo hunt, to be quite honest. I'm just kidding. Well, not really. Okay. I think it's hard. The difference is post hunt blues are tricky because if that's your last hunt of the season, then most likely you don't get that, especially big game, you don't get that thrill again until a year later. Unless you're lucky enough to have tags in other places or something else coming up. I think the biggest thing is to get back into your routine, and start planning the next one. Like, that's the only way. Get excited about something else, and getting back into your routine is important. Get that movement in. I think that's a lot of it too, is for us personally, when we're hunting and on adventures, let's say like a hunting trip, we're up early, we're doing things, we're in a routine, even though it's a little chaotic, in a routine, and we're getting in lots of miles, we're getting sunlight, all that stuff. So when I get back home, I'm trying to reincorporate that into my daily life. Getting outside still, even though it's nowhere as gorgeous and I feel a little pissy about it. And then to like moving my body and staying in a routine. Post adventure, something like King's Peak or something like that. That was something where, like I said, we kind of just rolled into the next adventure, and that was something that helped. Yeah, I think plan your next adventure. Is that healthy? I don't know. I'm not a therapist. What's something you wish more people knew about prepping for a hunt? I said this a few times, and that was on those grinder of a hunts, specifically my buffalo hunt. I think a lot of those archery hunts too, like your bull elk hunts, your deer hunts, really is something that, like, I think bear hunt can kind of sometimes be a little more of a gentleman's hunt. But those big gnarly hunts, I don't like. I could train all the packing out that I could. I could train all of the shooting that I could. I could go through different scenarios, which even still, as you guys know, if you've heard my story, still couldn't prepare me for the scenario I went through with my head. It really is, I didn't train to be mentally and physically exhausted. I don't think there's a good way to train that, because I genuinely was sleep deprived while also my body was exhausted, and it really is a mental game. So I think going in, and I've had episodes on this before where it's preparing for your hunts, both physically and mentally. I hit a lot on this. And so I think going back to those key points is training a little more mentally, and then just knowing that you are going to be probably sleep deprived, because that was one thing that I was like, I'm doing it, obviously, but like, damn, nobody can prepare you for hardly any sleep and putting on 15 to 20 miles every day. Like, that's a whole other element, and you just kind of push through. Okay, we'll go into beauty/outdoors. So I have 2 questions about beauty in the outdoors. How do you keep your skin from freaking out on dusty camping trips? I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, and that is washing my face morning and night, and also doing a double cleanser. And then the other thing you can do also is you could also not wear makeup and take like a micellar wipe or makeup wipes with you out while you're riding around or wherever you're going, and clean your face then. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just making sure you are cleansing your face. And then there was another question about sunscreen always makes me break out what actually works. As a sensitive skin girl, I hear you and I feel for you. My biggest thing is like if you're breaking out on your face, I would wear a hat and sunglasses and try and cover up that way. I know a lot of people will use tallow or coconut oil as a sunscreen and they say that works well. Or there is an Aveeno lotion and it is a sunscreen and that one works well as well. That would be kind of my hot take is wear a hat if you can keep your face out of the sun with a hat and maybe like a sunshade hoodie, then there's no need for the sunscreen. I was asked, what are your clean hiking snacks? Woo! I love talking about snacks. Love talking about some snacks. Actually, it works out because my Mountain Ups order just came today. Hang on. Let me tell you. Clean snacks. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this because I just dug through this box. These are the Mountain Ops Venture Bars. You can buy them in the packs. My favorite flavors, we like the oatmeal cookie. The blueberry crisp is amazing. I don't know why I didn't order that one, but this is the oatmeal chocolate chip cookie. This taste, it reminds me of like those no-bake cookies. Blueberry crisp is my favorite, and then they do have a chocolate sea salt, which is also really good. So these are 10 grams of protein, 270 calories, and 29 grams of carbs. They're raw energy, so they're more like, think of like your RX bars. They're not so much, they're obviously higher carbs to protein ratio, and these have clean ingredients in them and they're easy to pack in your bag. So that's something packaged that you may like. I have to remind my kids, I'm like, okay, I'm like, those are not, it's not a little treat. It's not like a granola bar. They're so delicious, but we can't just like fly through them. My other clean snacks that I like on the mountain, sorry, I have a hair in my eye, that I like on the mountain and I keep in my pack, I always have a thing of tuna fish in there. And then I also really love having pickles. I especially like the pickle bites, like the spicy pickle bites. And pickles are really great to also get that sodium and potassium in and are great for muscle cramps and recovery. Those are my go-to. And then obviously like things like fruit are easy to throw in your pack too. So that's what I would suggest. It gives you like that good dose of carbs. And then obviously we have our Mountain Ops protein bars, but that's not necessarily like clean. So that's what I would say. I would say those raw bars are clean, protein bars not, tuna packets, fruit, pickles, and jerky is like an easy go-to, clean and simple. My kids even love, like, even on a hot day, they're totally fine. Cody is too, with like a string cheese that's like, a little warm. It's fine. What other questions do we have? What snacks are you loving lately? Doubled as kid approved and not boring. Ooh, good question. We just made the other day, actually last night, we made protein balls. So you take your oatmeal, your peanut butter or almond butter, your honey, and then your protein powder. I used the Mountain Ops ammo and chocolate and mixed that all together. And again, these tasted like those no-bake cookies. You could add in a little more cocoa powder if you want them a little sweeter. Did I already say honey? You could do honey or maple syrup as like another sweetener to it and roll those up. You could then, if you wanted to and make them extra bougie, you could roll them in some melted chocolate and then cover them with sea salt and make your own kind of energy bars. Those are a fantastic snack that we're loving lately. Also, we are really loving all the fruit right now. So watermelon with tahini. I've found for us personally, like I buy a lot of fresh fruit and then I also like to buy the cherry blend of frozen berries at Walmart and then the frozen mango and then the triple berries. And those were always either throw them in a container while they're frozen, keep them with you, and then, they're frozen. You can suck on them for a while. And then as time goes on, they obviously thaw out. Or we like doing stuff like tahini on the mango and on the watermelon. Those are kid approved and not boring. And my kids have been loving like pancakes, and that's not really a snack. That's a breakfast. What's a snack? Oh, they've really been loving jerky. We've really just been in a fruit phase. Oh, and a smoothie phase. The last 2 days, my boys have drank smoothies, and same thing. That's when the frozen berries come into play, and we like adding in our raw milk to that. It just makes it thick and creamy and adds in some really good protein and fat. How do you eat healthy-ish when you're in the backcountry for days? I would attribute this to my food intolerances. But also the fact that I really do I'm someone that's, if you haven't got on in tune with my body, and I can't deal with not feeling good, especially when you're in the backcountry. I'm wanting to enjoy the moment. I don't want to be a pain in the ass. And like it's a long ways in to not feel good. So the biggest hack I have, if you're going to be in the backcountry and you want something kind of no brainer done for you, that would be the Heather's Choice meals. They are insanely good. All the ingredients are organic, they're thoughtful. Heather has been on the podcast. It's been quite a few years now. I would love to get Heather back on because she has gone through a lot since then. She was on Shark Tank. How cool is that? But Heather's Choice, here's the deal with these two, because they are dehydrated meals. They taste incredible. The menu is unlike anything else. Like it's so elevated and delicious. It has vegetables in every meal. It's got high protein. It's like highly well sourced, and you stay regular when you eat these. Okay? So that's also going to make you a happy tummy, and that's major when you're in the backcountry. A happy tummy and being regular. So Heather's Choice definitely helps with that. And then, like I said, having those healthy backpack snacks in as well. And then, honestly, it's like what you pack is what you have. So just making smart choices as you're packing your backpack ahead of time. And then obviously, like you can have a treat or two. But if all you have in there is Snickers and Uncrustables, then like that's all you're going to eat. So it's really preparing ahead of time and making the choices before you leave the mountain, because once you're up there, you ain't got no choice. Now we have kind of some mindset and wellness questions. How do you reset after a weekend that didn't go as planned? Well, my family is very spontaneous. So we either have a day that's full of sports and activities, and then usually like a random day. I honestly, as a mom and a mom that works from home, I try and set myself up for success prior to the weekend, knowing that at any point we could randomly decide to go here or there or anywhere. We're like the Dr. Seuss's. So Fridays, I try and make sure that, because I function better when my house is in order. That's just my personality. I like things where they are. I like things clean. I get overstimulated. Shocker. So I try and set things up for success the best I can. Meaning for me, that's trying to have, Cody's going to laugh when he hears this, laundry done-ish for the weekend, what we're going to need. I like to make sure that everyone has, if my kids have their uniforms that they need to wear, that's done, that Cody has whatever shirt and stuff he needs for work ready to go for Monday, so that way I'm not scrambling on Sunday. And then, let the weekend happen, try and pick up and clean as I go is my preferred method. Or if shit just goes to hell in a handbasket, then whatever. Then I come back to Monday, and that's where I was going with it, is Mondays I like to make as my reset days. So that is how I reset, is knowing that I've prepared Friday and I've tried to like kind of keep up throughout the weekend. And then I have Monday to reset, and I give myself time for that. And I realize not everybody works from home and has that ability. So maybe that's something where you ask yourself, what makes me happy? What would make the weekend feel reset? Whether it's like resetting the house Sunday night or getting up early Monday morning and just like starting your week off good. Is it needing to journal about it? Go through and just even journal what you're grateful for, because holy fucking shit, am I going to like lose my stuff? So I would try and set aside time before the weekend and after the weekend every week, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel qualified to answer that answer that question. Tips for getting your mind right when life is feeling chaotic. LO fucking L. Wow, you guys think so highly of me. Again, it's like resetting and breathing. I'm lucky I have my person. My person is Cody. He grounds me. He is for me. But I would ask yourself, what can you control, and control that. So for me, that is like my house chores, what we're eating, what we're doing, moving my body, feeling grateful, and then the rest of the world can spin around that. And as long as like I'm grounded that way, then I can move through the chaos. I've fallen off my morning routine. Where do I start again? Well, what's your morning routine? I would just say push yourself. I think there's a really good quote that has helped me push through, especially this last, let's say 2025. And that is, I heard, what's the Let Them lady? Mel Robbins. I heard her say that she does like the 3-2-1 method, and I'm probably screwing that up, so sorry, but count 3-2-1 and then just do it. So when your alarm goes off in the morning, don't snooze it, just get up and do it. And it's just honestly pushing through and make yourself do that. Also, maybe it's something as simple as like getting really excited to set out an outfit for tomorrow, or like, no, you have a new coffee, something to like give you a little bit of a oomph to get up and get ready and get excited. And sometimes, honestly, there's nothing that exciting to get ready for. You just know that the feeling a couple days in is worth doing it, and that in itself is a reward. Last group of questions. Fun. What's something dumb you did in the outdoors and immediately regretted? Well, I think we all know what the obvious answer is on that one, so I'm not going to say that one. That's my whole personality. It's not. Something dumb you did in the outdoors and immediately regretted. They all have to like do with hunting, and they were all learning lessons. What else is something dumb or silly I did in the outdoors and immediately regretted? I don't know. Next. I'll come back to it. Describe your current vibe in 3 items in your truck or your pack. My current vibe in my truck is I just went through and cleaned it all, wiped all the leather. There's nothing like a new leather wipe shine, you know? And then I feel like fishing stuff all over in the back of my truck because I am nothing if not a fishing Uber. Also, I have camp chairs and blankets and coats kind of pushed underneath my seats because at any moment I'm prepared to be a sports mom or, like I said, fishing at some random spot. So that is my vibe. My pack is, I mean, it describes pretty good. My pack currently has all my usuals, which obviously includes food and snacks and med kit, and then also weights. So because she's prepping. You guys, the archery hunt is going to come up so fast and I'm so excited. I really got to start shooting my bow. You're going to see a lot of me shooting my bow on Instagram. My camp, oh my gosh. My camp neighbor was playing EDM at 6 a.m. How do you handle annoying campers? Not well. I think everybody, once you have gone camping enough, everyone has their horror stories, right? We had people, and we haven't done this in a while. Like, we should have known better, but it was one of those, like, let's just take the camp trailer up. We know it's public lands. It's public lands. I get it. But, like, don't we all go camping to get away from people and be in the outdoors? Yes. So it really fucking confuses me when people like, oh, I don't know, back right over your horseshoe stakes and decide like, that looks like a good place to park, or literally let's try and bump uglies with this trailer. No. So we've yet to do that again. It's hard. It's hard. Like, just be fucking respectful. Are you kidding me? 6 a.m. I have follow-up questions. Hi, I was just curious. Have you guys not gone to sleep yet? Or like, is this how you start your mornings? Hi, my name's Karen. And then too, I think after that experience, we definitely try and find way more secluded places to camp so then we can really do camping the way that we want to. And so I would say you kind of just have to learn from this why I don't like staying in like campgrounds. And I would definitely get something like Onyx where you can look and see what kind of public lands you can go camping on. And then obviously look up like permitting and staying times for those different public lands where you're going to be camping and like stay times and all that. And just try and get away from people because you shouldn't be having to deal with that. Ask me. That's all of our questions. Look at us. Well, I'm so proud of us. Thanks for participating, guys. I think that's going to be it because this is an hour and 7 minutes. I'm probably going to cut down a lot more. I was thinking of doing like a segment where like you guys send in, well, it's kind of like what I did, your gripes, your hot takes, our grab bag of questions. Hopefully this episode was at least just fun to kind of sit down and shoot the shit with me, get to know me a little better and what we have going on, and you were able to learn something from this, or just enjoy that coffee. Hopefully you were going on a walk, maybe you were getting your ruck in. And yeah, that is one question I had. How do we do our rucks? We have weighted plates that we put inside of our backpacks. So Cody has the Mystery Ranch Metcalf, the men's Metcalf, and I have the Mystery Ranch. Wait, no. I have the Metcalf. I have the Mystery Ranch women's Metcalf. Cody has the men's Marshall. I don't know, it might be backwards. But we have those backpacks, and so they have like a meat rack in between the backpacks. And so we stack our plates in between there, and honestly, and then we can also strap some to the outside or put it down in. But I really like doing it that way because honestly, that's how we'll be packing out our meat and our hides and our animals anyways. And so that is how we do those. Please feel free to tag me or DM your favorite part of this episode, or if you have some kind of gripes, recommendations, hot takes about summer, camping, outdoors, wellness, whatever it is you are doing. I want to hear it. I would love to hear more from you guys and have more listener segments. I think would be so fun to be able to get to know you guys a little bit better and be there to connect with you guys. If you want more episodes like this, or you think maybe we'll start doing like a once a month check-in, just kind of like hanging out, little low key, I can do more of those. Let me know. And then I will put any recipes, mentions, recommendations, anything like that in the show notes below. And then next week we should have either a guest on or a rewind. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the rewind episodes. Like I said, we have enough episodes now that I feel like so many get lost in the archive. So I want to bring those back because as I even like get mentioning, like Heather's Choice, I'm like, holy shit, we've had Heather on. Like, what a cool conversation. Maybe I'll bring hers back next week. And then, like I said, we do have a few in-person guests coming in. I'm excited for you guys to kind of get a little feel for like my little studio setup and a little upgrade of curtains and studio lights. Who is she? And then excited for you guys to see some of the podcasts that I'm going to be going on and getting to be a guest on. Please don't forget to share this episode with anyone you may think will enjoy it, whether that is your mom, your sister, your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband. And it means a lot. If you're listening on Spotify, please comment below anything you want to share with the class. And I can't wait to be able to chat with you guys more over on Spotify. I think that's a cool new feature. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to do the same. I look forward to hearing what it is you guys are up to this week and how you are training to bring the wellness into the wild and the wild back into the home.